Hello, this is Chrissy Green here with another video tutorial for the Photography for Beginners Facebook group. Yesterday I posted this really cute picture of my daughter Eleanor enjoying some rain, and somebody actually asked if there was a tutorial on how to do an edit like this, so I'm going to do that today. Normally my videos are just, I take one element of something that I'm working on and show you how to do it. Today I'm actually going to do an entire edit from beginning to end. Um, that will take more than my 10-minute time limit, so it's probably going to be done in 2 or 3 parts. So I ask your forgiveness for having to watch more than one video to see this edited in its entirety. And I guess without further ado, let's get started. So these are the images from our little photo session that we had yesterday. She's not very good at taking direction. She's only 2.5, but these are the shots that we got. This is the one that I decided to edit. I didn't make a lot of big changes. I did up the exposure a little bit. I brought down the highlights, and I made my shadows a little bit darker. And I did add just a little bit of a raised exposure here for her. Nothing major. I tend to shoot a little darker than I plan on editing. That's just the way I learned how to photograph. A lot of people will say that you should overexpose as opposed to underexpose, but I find if you're not pushing it too far in either direction, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's whatever you prefer, and this is how I prefer to shoot. So this is the image that I started with. So I am going to take this and pop it over to Photoshop. Boop, ba-doop, boo, and we wait. La, 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 la. There we go. All right, so the first thing I need to do is really clean up this image. There is some gross stuff on the backdrop. You can see it's dripping. Initially, because she does love to jump in puddles, I actually poured a glass full of water on the backdrop because I was hoping that she would stomp around in it, and she didn't. So I'm going to have to take out all of these little water drops. I'm just using the healing tool here, and you get that by pressing J in Photoshop. It will bring up your healing tool, and then you just have to click on these little areas that you want gone. Because my background is textured and variegated, I don't have to zoom right in and be 100% precise. Some flaws that you get in your pictures can be hidden, others not so much. And the drips are a big one. So we're going to do that. Get rid of all of the little things that will show up. We'll take out the phone. It was playing a YouTube video for her to keep her gaze where I wanted it. Boop-doo. And that's a great tip with toddlers, is if you want to direct their attention to a specific spot for any length of time, ask their mom or dad, what's their favorite song or show or video, and just pop your smartphone in the spot you want their eyes to go. And there's a gummy bear I tried to grab her with. We'll get rid of the gummy bear. And we'll take a quick look here. Looks good. Alright, so now I have to get rid of the corner of my softbox. I easily could have shot this so that the softbox wasn't showing. But I tend to get a little lazy because I know that very little of my scene is actually going to remain in the image. So, my main thing is my subject looking good? And if so, I take the shot. There we go. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And then I will have to get rid of where the top of my backdrop is. That there's actually just separate backdrop. Number of ways you can do that. You can literally just select the area that is good, hit Control T and pull it up a little bit. It will stretch your pixels out a bit. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. In this instance, it's not that bad. I'll hit S on my keyboard and just use that to kind of help me get rid of any of the bits. I didn't want to stretch the background too far. I'll just get rid of that. I want to get rid of just some of these wrinkles over here. And this black bar on the side is because I was really pushing my shutter speed. Not intentionally either. It's on my Nikon D610. The shutter speed is really easy to nudge accidentally. So I pushed it just a bit too far, and I wasn't able to sync up with my flash quite perfectly. So I did get a dark band on the side. I could have easily just sort of reshot that, but it wasn't important for this image. Some things are so easy for me to fix in Photoshop that I just ignore it. Now down here there is a wrinkle in my backdrop because I had something leaning on it. I'm just going to press S on my keyboard, and I'm just going to just kind of do away with some of that shadow there. When you're cloning, keep an eye out for repeating patterns. As you can see, by getting rid of that shadow, I am repeating the variegations. And the best thing to do is to just get rid of that because it tends to stick out really easily. So I'll just sample around and make sure that nothing looks like it's repeating too much. There we go. Just getting rid of that shadow and then the repeated parts. It just makes it look more natural. When you have a repeating pattern, it stands out, and the first thing anyone will think is, oh look, Photoshop. So here I have a cleaned up image of my daughter staring at nothing, standing on nothing, nothing's happening. The first thing I always do is smooth out the skin a little bit. I tend to overdo it because that's my style, and you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I have it set up as an action on my computer. Bring this into the screen here. Basically, you can see the steps right here. It makes a copy of my background, adds a surface blur, and then it creates a layer mask. So that after I've played my action, I just have to come in with a low opacity white brush and brush it off of the area. So I'll press play on this. As you can see, it's duplicated the layer. It's applying a really heavy surface blur to the entire image, which I don't want on the entire image, but then the layer mask, which is in black, hides everything. And now with my brush at about 27-ish, making sure that it is a soft brush and making sure that you don't have any brush presets applied, which I don't. I'm just going to go in on her skin and just kind of brush this on. And this is just going to smooth out any uneven skin tones. If she's got some peanut butter stuck to her, or a pimple, or a rash, or a red spot, it evens it out nicely. Just want to avoid the eye. And where I did go over the eye, if you hit X on your keyboard, will toggle between black and white. So on a black mask, white is going to reveal what the mask is hiding, and black will hide it again. Alright, so now that is pretty much everything I did. The only other thing I did to prep my subject was to give her a little bit of blush on her cheeks. Easiest way to do that is to sample a lip color with a low opacity brush. I'm just going to brush it on her cheeks, the tip of her nose, and back onto her lips again. Erase it where it went overboard there. And then that layer, and this was again with just 27% opaque brush. And then I'm just going to shift it over to soft light. As you can see, it gives her just a nice little glow. And then just adjust the opacity from there. I'm not really going for an overly rosy look, but it just gives her face a nice little bit of color there. Almost unnoticeable. Alright, so that brings us up to the end of the first section of videos. Literally, all I did was prep my subject and my background so that I can go ahead with the photo manipulations that I want to do on this project. So I am going to set up another video, part 2, and I will walk you through how to create your own raindrops and rain effects, and we'll add in that adorable froggy sitting on a rock. Alright, thanks a lot. We'll see you in video 2.